line. Too scared to trust you and jump down. I'll keep my status quo up here, won't let anybody come near. I'll fix it on my own. 29 years I've been the same, trying so hard to run from shame. But how long can I keep up the pace? To fool myself I don't need grace. Will you be there to catch my fall? Need to be sure you'll hear my call. Darkness around me and I don't know why it's so hard to let go. Why it's so hard to let go. Down the line, you'll ask why I wasted my time, and I'll say I didn't know better. But the truth is I was weak and scattered, afraid of the blame. 29 years I've been the same, trying so hard to run from shame. I will not keep up the pace. To fool myself I don't need grace. Will you be there to catch my fall? Need to be sure you'll hear my call. Darkness around me and I don't know why it's so hard to let go. Why it's so hard. Will you be there to catch my fall? Need to be sure you'll hear my call. Darkness around me and I don't know why it's so hard to let go. Why it's so hard to let go. Yeah, hard to let go. Hard to let go. Why it's so hard to let go.
The last breath of summer is blowing down our necks, and soon we'll wave goodbye to the fleeting bliss. Because you are like a tidal wave, just ripping up my life and living without a trace. And you know that I'm your silent patient. You know I'm your silent patient. I've been waiting this long out for your hands to hold me up. I'll be holding on through the winter for your kiss to wake me up. Now with the colors of spring, my heart will blossom up again. Speeding up, and with your smile it will erupt. And I collect all I can, set aside all the supplies. Your kisses and warmness to get through winter time, because I'm your silent patient. Listen. The first day I saw you seems long ago. I still remember it was so cold. You were warm and I with some green tea. You asked me, can you lend me sugar? You grabbed the shaking bowl and shook her, and you put all the sugar right on me. And what a crash, what a crash. Felt the sudden sugar rush as you sang me your apologies. And when the second day we met by chance, what a sweet coincidence to find the sugar girl right next to me. Decided it's time to introduce myself. Your name that came with an address that led me to my favorite night in years. Just 7 days, and sugar's almost everywhere. It's oh so sweet. I'm almost melting on the street, and I don't know, what have you done with me, sugar girl? It's like a spell. I feel I float in caramel. Before there was a walk in pure bliss with a cotton candy kiss, and for a second my heart skipped a beat. 3 other days were spent under the sheets like an everlasting sweet. 2 small grains from the same sugar lamp. Just 7 days, and sugar's almost everywhere. It's so sweet. I'm almost melting on the street, and I don't know, what have you done with me, sugar girl? It's like a spell. I feel I float in caramel. Today's the 7th day since we first met, and I am sure I won't forget. Sugar boy, you emptied over me. For 7 days been cooking in the oven. Sun spit sugar sent to loving, blessed with gentle drops of warm green tea. Just 7 days, and sugar's almost everywhere. It's so sweet. I'm almost melting on the street, and I don't know, what have you done with me, sugar girl? I feel like float in caramel. I feel like float. I feel like float in caramel. I feel like float. I feel I float.